Okay, it's now recording, and this is a video on Dragon Quest III. I just finished it, I think like 10 minutes ago, so it's still very fresh in my mind. I've been playing the Dragon Quest games for quite some time now, and trying to play it in order. And yes, this is the Japanese version, just because I encountered it in a store and got it really cheap, because there was no way I'm going to get the American version, and I wasn't able to take it out of my console for a while because this game gave me the most trouble to play than any other game in my entire life, because I don't have a Famicom console and I have a Hyperkin, but of all consoles, out of all the games, this is the only game where I was picky, and I had to get a Famicom adapter to even play the Famicom games, and this one was very picky. It's one of those games where it'll work on anything but specific consoles, even though it's completely fine. So I had to use my Retro Duo, but the problem with that was already kind of damaged for the NES pins, so I had to buy another Retro Duo. I could have played the remastered version on the Super Famicom, or I could have played the one that came out on Switch, but I wanted to play the original Dragon Quest III, because I heard that in Japan when this came out, this was like a huge deal, and I wanted to play the original to see exactly what made this game so legendary. I don't think it's considered the best in this series, but it's definitely considered to be the most, most impactful out of all of them. I have the other games in my hand. I have Dragon Warrior 1. This is the only one I've played that was in English. It's weird, I actually played that when I was 5 without even knowing. Didn't get far. And then here is Dragon Quest II. I played this one last year, and this one was very frustrating, but I beat it. And of course I have Dragon Quest IV, which I will play sometime this year, and I'm in a way kind of excited to play this just because I've heard that it does a lot of things better than the third one, so that's nice to know. So if I had to just give a brief review on it, honestly, I don't really care much for the Dragon Quest games, but then you would think, why do I even play them? I don't know. Maybe for the history, maybe because it's very interesting to play these games, because this is considered to be quite arguably the most popular RPG in Japan, and maybe it's because there's some things I actually do like about it. Kind of like I don't like fighting games, but I like everything but the fighting. Like the characters, the music, stages, the personality of it, but I just suck at fighting games. And personally, I think the first one is not good, and I think the second one is below average, but this one's actually the first one that I played that is actually okay. It's actually an okay game. Compared to the first two, it's way better. So I'm gonna stop rambling on, and I'm going to show some footage in the game, because there's actually no footage for this game on YouTube. So I'm going to show some footage that I've encountered of some regional differences. So it's just going to be a little bit. So I'm just going to pause it and then get to that. Alright, so I'm going to turn it on, because the first major difference is actually kind of a surprising one. Alright, it's going to look weird for a second. I'm just going to turn it on, and the first difference is when you turn it on, it just says Dragon Quest III. In the American version, it shows much more than that. There's music, there's the title screen, and it's kind of weird. My joke of it is, it's like, wow, this game is so legendary that like it's supposed to be so awesome that it doesn't need a epic music or amazing picture for the intro. No, it just has to say Dragon Quest 3. People go crazy just hearing it. So, one thing I'm going to show, hopefully I don't mess this up. Okay, different files. So another major difference is, and this is the case with Dragon Quest 2 and I think 4, is when you start a new game, let me just do this, I'm just trying to do this really quickly. So when you start a file, in the American version, it would show a cutscene of the main character's father fighting a dragon, but in the Japanese version, it doesn't show any of that. So that's kind of interesting, and they do this in 2 and probably 4. So yeah, that's kind of strange. Okay, now I'm going to go to my file. This is my main file, the one I played on. Oh, and spoilers, of course. Well, maybe the spoilers aren't that big, but just in case. So, here's my team. Again, I just finished this, like, by this point, not even half an hour ago, so it's still kind of shaken up finishing this because it took me several months to finish, and it was definitely a ride playing this. It may have not been good, but it was definitely memorable. And I have the hero, soldier, sage, and the fighter. Now, one of the first big differences in the Japanese version is actually up here. Now, I don't know if I said this, but I'll say it again just in case. Excuse me for the camera shaking. I'm trying to hold it with my hand because it's kind of hard to set it up. So one difference is up here. Normally, what you're about to see in front, behind this guy, is it's just a lake. There's nothing there but water, but in the Japanese version, it's actually this. This isn't in the American version. I forgot exactly what it's called. I can't remember. I don't know if it's called a manji, because although it looks like a swastika, it actually isn't supposed to be like a Nazi swastika. I forgot what it is exactly. I just know that it's not bad. It actually... I don't know what it means exactly. I can't be 100% certain. All I know is that it's not bad. It's supposed to be pure wisdom, power, stuff like that. So, alright, the next thing I'm going to show will be, let's see. Now you might question, how are you able to play this game when it's fully in Japanese? I couldn't really explain it, but just trial and error. Just kind of having a laptop on me and just having multiple tabs of things, to weapons, to armors. And yes, I would have to look online constantly. Whoops. And you would think, what's the fun in doing that? I don't know, it's kind of a different experience playing a game like this. Just having to, I don't know, it's strange. So another difference is, and this is the case for all the Dragon Quest games, or at least the first 3 I've played, this guy looks very different. He has a cross in his hand, and he has a cross in the background. In the American version, he doesn't have this. He has like a star, and his sprite is completely different. He doesn't hold a cross, which I'm going to assume that the American version doesn't want religion symbols or any type of symbols. There is one place that I can't be able to show because I honestly don't exactly remember where it is, but there is one place where it actually shows a big cross, but in the American version it's removed. And when it comes to enemy sprites, they didn't really change any of it. It's pretty much all the same. Now I'm going to pause it really quickly because there's another thing I want to show. Alright, and I'm back. So this is another difference I wanted to show, and it's nighttime. So, crap. Hopefully you can see it. In the American version, it's supposed to just look like a normal tomb cave, but in the Japanese version, it shows a cross on it right here. I don't know if you can hear me, probably far away, but it just shows a cross. And again, crosses, I guess, are bad, and they don't want to show it in their games, so they removed it. I really want to show the cross from that one town, so I'm going to try to quickly find it, and I'll say how long it took me just to find it. Okay, I believe it's this town. I'm pretty sure it's this town. I'm like 90% sure. Yep, this is the town. So in the American version, what you see up there that's white is not there in the American version. Instead, it's only in the Japanese version. It's hard to do with one hand. Here it is. So this isn't here in the American version. It doesn't exist. And I think that's most of the religious stuff that's removed. Now actually, now that I think about it, I can't show it because I would have to die, but I think when you die in this one, they're in caskets and they have a cross on them. I'm pretty sure maybe in the American version, they're still in caskets, but it doesn't have a cross. So I think that's it for the religious stuff. So there's some additional stuff that I can't be able to show because I already beat a certain part in which, towards the end of the game, when you go to Zoma's castle, you encounter this guy fighting this dragon, and I can't remember his name. Ortega, I think. His sprite is completely different. In the Japanese version, it just looks like a generic masked butcher with an axe that's yellow, but in the American version, they actually gave him an original sprite. So that's pretty interesting. In terms of item placements and mostly everything in terms of combat, it's pretty much the same. I wouldn't be surprised if the enemies are slightly harder, but let me try to give an example on the combat in the game. Whoops. Let me go to the area I grinded. I grind for 5.5 hours because this game has a good amount of grinding. Oh wait, I have repel on, so let me pause it and get back. Okay, the repel is removed and I can show some combat. I just want to show one round of combat and I went inside. Whoops. Now let's do that again. I'm actually shocked that no enemies are encountering. Most of the time I would move for a second and they would encounter me. And the repel. Okay, here we go. Oh wow, a metal slime showed up on the first try. It would have been nice having more of those. Alright, so this is pretty much how it usually goes. Have the hero attack, have the warrior attack, and then have the sage use a magic spell. I've seen most of these so many times that I know exactly what it is. Like this one, I believe this one's Snow Blast, and this one is the strongest magic for Boom. So I would use that. And then the fighter would use an attack for that. And the metal slime runs away because that's what it always does. I cannot describe how frustrating it was trying to deal with those sliming jerks. Not good at saying offensive things. It's better that way. And I think that's it for the most part. I don't want to show the final boss because that really stressed me out trying to beat him. So I think that's going to be it. I'm sorry if this video was horrible. I'm not good at making videos. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't make a video for Dragon Quest II. Apologies to the screaming toilet. But I hope this video was 1/4, even if it was 1/100th interesting to watch. That makes me happy. Alright, that'll be it. Bye bye.